everyone. Welcome to Social Media Introvert. Today's guest is Kabar 4.0, or just Kabar, I don't know, just Kabar 4.0.
It's Kabar. Yeah.
I'm saying it's just Kabar or just Kabar 4.0. Either one. So how this goes usually, when I kind of just tell everybody, it's basically, we start off with like some orchestrated questions I ask everyone.
Okay.
And then we go to questions that I personally want to ask you. There's an open floor discussion, which I meant to give you a heads up about, but I forgot, as always. Which is basically you can ask me anything you want to ask me, or talk about any topic you want to talk about. And then there's usually a question portion, but I didn't get any questions. I don't know if you got any. If you did, let me know. So tell everyone at home, wherever the hell you are, listening to this. So tell everyone listening who you are, what you do, all that stuff.
Okay, so like you said, my name is Kabar 4.0, or you can just go by Kabar. I basically am a content creator. Sometimes I like to create short movies, which I don't do very often because they take a long time to make. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes I create like skits, but mostly I focus on like giving advice at videos, or sometimes focus on mental health.
Mm-hmm. What got you into social media or YouTube in general?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, first I used to use YouTube like just to watch different creators, like the content Ranta, this Lily Scenes. But then I was like, this sounds pretty interesting, and I want to like express myself and just give my own opinion. So I was like, I'm gonna create one for myself. And like, I think back in 2016 is when I first made my first YouTube video.
Nice. Well, that was my next question. How long have you been doing it?
Well, I haven't been doing it like consistently, but like I started in 2016 and it was consistent from that point. But then like I don't want to say I got tired, because even when I stopped doing YouTube, I was like still making videos, but like just the anxiety of focusing on what people want to see, I just stopped uploading. Yeah. But like consistently in 2016 I was doing it, but then I like came back in 2017 and just been off and on and off and on.
Well, that makes sense, because it's like when you feel like you aren't, I guess, appeasing the masses, it's like, well, what do I do now? Yeah. So it's like it takes time to figure out to just like do your own thing, but it's a process.
Yeah, it's like for, I think, celebrities the same. Like you're on public display, you're constantly in front of people's eyes, so you're trying to like appease the audience and like pander to certain people. Yeah. So I got tired of that, and just like it wasn't enjoyable to like make content.
So Kabar's channel, from what I gathered and researched, I did hella research before this interview. I do it on every person. Like she said before, she started out doing like skits and short movies and basically sketches and things like that. And I kind of knew I didn't know. I was trying to figure out the moment when it kind of switched over to like doing advice things, motivational videos. I had it, but I forgot it. but she kind of switched over to doing that kind of content, and that's kind of where her channel was kind of run as. So I guess in the beginning stages, was with the skits and things like that, was that your original idea with your channel, or was that just like, I see everyone else doing it, so I'm guessing that's what I'm going to do too?
Well, that was my original idea, because when I looked at like a lot of different YouTubers, like especially for mostly females, I saw that they mostly were doing like beauty stuff and vlogging. I was like, man, women can be funny too. I was like, I consider myself funny. Like, let's see how this goes. So I want to do some skits, and the only one that I knew who was doing it, like Jenna Marbles and Lily Sings. But I see like a lot of comedians now, like on Instagram. But I was like, I can get to skits and do something like that and just see how it goes. So initially, it was my idea to like do skits.
Nice. So, do you feel like there is enough, I guess, of a representation of women in comedy now that it was then?
Yeah, now I think it's getting definitely like bigger. And you like seeing a lot, like you see different women, even on traditional TV, you're seeing it more. Yeah. Like with Issa Rae and Tiffany Haddish, you see like more women comedians. So I like it now. It's like you've seen a lot of those. Now we don't have a shortage, and like so. It's nothing that I feel like I have to do, but like if I want to do something funny, it's like, okay, maybe I'll just do it to like switch up the content, do something funny if I feel it.
Yeah, because I honestly think I don't know. I notice now on social media, and just like if we being specific in general, YouTube itself, a lot of like female creators are trying to break that boundary of like, hey, we just do YouTube and fashion shit, and it's like, yeah. We could be crafty, we can be cooks, we can be actresses, we can be, all these other things. And it's nice to kind of see that, because it's like, there's nothing wrong with being a beauty guru, don't get me wrong. Yeah, nothing. But it's like, there's more to being just that one idea of a woman.
Like for me, it's like when I watch content, I might want to see something different. You know, like now I see like a lot of gamers who are females, and I might want to see that. It's like it encourages you to want to do it as well, but like gives you that this can be done.
Yeah. Plus, sometimes, truth be told, I honestly feel like some of the women are better than the men when it comes to YouTube videos. So it's like I highly encourage more women to do like stuff that are heavily male-dominated fields, like especially gaming. Like,
yeah,
like for instance, my friend Era. Hey, Era, if you're listening, she just started Twitch. She's really good, and I find her more enjoyable than I would, I guess, like a PewDiePie or a Markiplier or something like that. So it's like, definitely go for it, you know? So when you started with skits, when was that moment you decided to change into, I guess, the motivational, inspirational things?
Let's see, like I didn't like intentionally decide to change. It was just that I want to make content for what I was dealing with. So like maybe someone else needs some motivation too, because right now this is what I feel. So I was making content as for me, basically, like let's try to make this enjoyable for me. So like mental health and some stuff like hard to talk about, so I want to make it like lighthearted but like still get serious,
like something people can relate to and kind of like have experience with. Yeah, because I get that, because it's like I think a lot of social media people don't really like to talk about serious things or talk about things that relate to mental health, because they think, oh, it's too serious, it's not fun, no one wants to be dealing with that. It's like, no, it's important. People deal with this stuff. People go through this. They need to hear it. So now, in this current time, how would you describe your channel overall?
My channel overall is still confusing for me. It's like I don't like intentionally have where I want to go with it, but I'm just focused on like what I want to do in the moment. And in the moment, I do want to do short films, and I do want to do like motivational videos, but also I kind of like to switch it up sometimes and just make it funny and entertaining, because like mostly that's what we look to consume, entertainment. Yeah,
because I feel like right now Kabar's channel is like, it's like a variety pack of chips. There's different cases, there's different chips in each little section. You never know what you're gonna get, but that's good, because it's like she's constantly switching it up, which I feel like a lot of creators are scared to do. Yeah, and it's like to see a lot more people and be like, hey, I have other options too. That's great to see. Let's get to the other stuff, the real tea.
Get deep.
Outside of social media, what do you do? What is Kabar like in regular life?
Kabar is boring as hell in regular life. No. Well, inside regular life, it's just like it's work, it's school, and it's like trying to figure out like content to create, and it's just like dealing with my family. Like my regular life is like really, really boring at this point, which is why I used to do like vlogs, and I initially stopped that because like, okay, if I'm traveling, then like I'll vlog it, and if there's something big happening, I'll vlog it. But it's like at this point, there's nothing interesting at all. Like I want to have like a keeping up with the Kardashian type life, so I can have some shit to talk about. But,
yeah. What are you in school for?
I'm in school for marketing. I feel like I haven't been in school for years, and it's like it's pretty like it's good, like because I learn a lot, but at the same time it gets tiring and like it's stale. Like yeah,
it's like a constant cycle over and over again.
Yeah,
that's school for you. As kind of stated before, Kabar is, I guess, kind of classify her as like a very optimistic person. I don't know, as a profession, would you see yourself doing something, I don't know, kind of like in terms of like a motivational speaker, or as a I don't know, therapist?
I have thought about that, because like ideally I do care a lot and like get into people's head. Like I have friends and they'll like go through their own stuff, and I'm always that friend that's like that you can go to for advice, or like that's trying to help you out. But like I don't think I would do therapy so much, because I like it's a very interesting field, but it's kind of like just too routine for me, or like too boring. My personality is like more uphype. So but as far as motivational speaker, I have thought about that a lot. I was like, yeah, I would like to do something like that.
Yeah, because I feel like that's your calling. That's your niche, you know. Niche. That's your niche. Because you give such like a good vibe and a good energy whenever you are on social media, and it's like I feel like a lot of people who don't follow you, they're like missing out on like something that can probably help them get through just their day. And it's like I'm surprised you're not by now, truth be told.
Yeah, I have like as far as doing like playlists, I liked it that could give me a chance to like kind of do public speaking in a way. But as far as doing anything big, I haven't. Like I spoke at small events, or like even as doing performance later on, like in the past I used to do like music performances, but it's not anything like really big as far as motivational speaking.
There's like some kind of opportunities for that. You should totally like go for it, because you will certainly just thrive in that for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kabar has a, I don't know what to call it, like a web series or something called Trust Your Progress. Sorry. Trust Your Progress. Tell us about that.
Okay, so Trust Your Progress is kind of like I would say like my own kind of show, but like on IGTV. So like I get different influencers who kind of have a following, who have kind of like made an impact in their career so far, who have had like, you know, some success. And so far I have did like about 5 different interviews with 5 different influencers, like a makeup one's a screamer, one's a comedian, just like different people. And the purpose of that was to be like, we see these successes and we think like, oh my god, that person made it big and this person's doing that, and we don't see like the hardship that they went through and the struggles that they still face. We only see the highlights. So I just want to kind of like get in depth into like what actually goes on in their career and like the battles they have to face.
Kind of like a behind the scenes thing, basically.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really interesting take, because it's like you said, you don't really get to see a lot of people's struggles and come up when they become well known.
Yeah.
So it's like because I feel like that's because the thing with your web series, I guess is how you classify it. With that, it kind of gives like, I guess, hope in a certain kind of way, because it's like, well, if I know this person has went through these same trials and tribulations to get here, I know for a fact I can do that too. And that's what I kind of liked about it. Well, last one I watched was Amber? What's her name?
Amber Tiana, yes.
Yes. Which, by the way, she was at playlist. I saw her for like a couple seconds.
Yeah, we met up and she hugged me. She's like, your podcast is doing so well. You're on playlist and you're on panel. I was like, oh my god, she's so sweet.
But it's just, you know, seeing someone who has like this big impact and I guess this big presence kind of like share their stories. It really kind of, you know, I don't know, it just puts you in the right headspace, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
And like, you know, they have like a big following. A lot of these people are still humble and they themselves don't feel like they have made it that far. One person that I was talking to is like, I still like have more to do. It's like, it's good to know that other people still feel that way when we look at them as successes. Yeah,
because it's like, I feel like some people feel like they get, I don't know, that little 1,000. It's like, yeah, I've done it, I'm accomplished. It's like, no, you still have a far way to go. Don't get too full of yourself. Oh, which, by the way, if you guys want to like watch that, it's on Kabar's Instagram page, which is Kabar 4.0, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So look it up, follow her, and look for it. It's on her IGTV page, which is on her page. I don't know how IGTV works, so like, don't ask me technical stuff. But it's there. So I guess, which kind of goes to something I guess I could have involved with the first set of questions. Being black on social media. So as a black person on social media, do you think it's easy or it's hard to become, I don't know, a social media influencer or the next big thing?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's easy in the way that like there aren't many who have done it to that like big of a height, so it's like not really more competition and you can be like the first or the few to make it up there. But then again, it's kind of hard in a way that like you don't really see that much representation and you're like, can this be done? It kind of takes away the confidence from you. But yeah.
Do you feel like people are not willing to let someone of color be the next big thing, or has society kind of like molded to just the same, like Tyler Oakley's and Hannah Hart's and you know, Shane Dawson's? They're so molded to that they're not willing to expand their variety. Yeah.
Well, personally speaking, me, I kind of have like a optimistic like outlook on some of these things. So like for me personally, I feel like a lot of people don't get a chance to see how Black creators think, or just Black people in general, because we paint it this a certain way inside traditional television, and social media allows you to get like a one-on-one take as to how someone really is. You might be like, hey, oh, this person relates to the same thing that I relate to, and they're just like me in this, aspect. So you're more willing to like follow them and become a fan of them. But in another way, I feel like people are closed-minded because they're used to what they're used to getting, and usually it's like a lot of vanilla, and it's like a lot of white people usually. So you're used to that, so that's what you're mostly gonna look at.
Because when I look at some like white content creators, I notice like even like newer ones, they grow so fast in such a short amount of time, and it's like when I see a creator of color basically start the same time as them, they are slowly making it, and it's like I feel like I don't know. It's like at some point I feel like people are so used to like seeing the pretty blonde hair girl or the pretty brown hair boy with the nose ring, and they're like, okay, great, let's make him popular. And it's like, truth be told, half these motherfuckers y'all be promoting are not fucking funny. They are not funny, they're not talented, they're nothing, but because they look great, they're there, and I feel like, truth be told, I honestly feel like appearance is what plays a big role in social media nowadays.
True.
It's like, if you don't look like how we want you to look like, if you don't look like this cute person, or you don't have this aesthetic, you just don't fit. And that's why I feel like for Black creators it's hard, because we're not like these skinny perfect body, long hair people.
The standard,
we are like, we come in different shades, different shapes, different sizes, different a lot of things. And I feel like people just aren't as, they want to say they're accepting of everything, but they're really not.
Yeah, true. I definitely agree with that, because like, I should say this, guys, Mickey has like one of the most aesthetically pleasing Instagram I have ever seen, and sometimes I look at his follower count and I'll just be like, this makes no sense, because there's people who don't even put that much work in. I don't know how long you take to edit your pictures, but they look amazing.
One picture itself, maybe like a couple of minutes. Several pictures that's in a video that's make a little like visual thing, 2 days.
Wow.
So I really go for it.
And you can see that when I look at your Instagram, like he has the whole like theme, and that's like so hard to do because I have tried it and I can't. And I look at his follower count and I'm like, he's been like on that number for a while, and I don't see why he's not growing, because he's really good at Instagram. So
well, I finally broke my 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I broke my 7-year curse of 200 followers. So well, mainly because my old account got hacked and I had 700 followers, so I've been stuck at 200. But we're at 300 now, so I'm glad for that. But thank you, I appreciate that. I guess that kind of ties into what I'm kind of saying. It's like when people of color try hard, they like, a lot of people work really hard, you know, social media wise, whether they're content creators or whether they're just like Instagram people. Like, it was one girl who did like the makeup video. I don't know if you've seen this video, you probably have. It's been all over Twitter. It's a girl who did like the makeup tutorials. She did like all these effects and stuff. If she like, I don't know, I forgot her Instagram name. She was a Black girl, and she did like all, like, she had the tutorial set to a song, but she had all these like effects and things happening in the video. I feel like Black people are usually the pioneers of creativity.
That's not wrong. That's not wrong at all.
Because there's been several examples of someone not Black taking that Black person's idea, marketing off of that, succeeding off of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you're doing what they're doing, but you're not doing it the right way. And I think that's a huge thing with social media now for Black creators. It's like basically trying to make your mark, make your stamp, and actually be like, hey, I actually started something a lot of you are doing.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like they don't get that credit.
Yeah, I see that constantly. Like, Black people mostly known for innovating and creating things. Like, they create the culture, and then it'll come, someone white will take it, and they'll get more success off it, and they wouldn't even do it as well as the Black person did it. So yeah, it's something that I constantly see, and that's something that you constantly like think about, like, how do we get over that? But like I said, personally for me, I'm just more optimistic on the situation. Like, it's like they can imitate, but no one will ever like meet your level of creativity or hard work or talent, and I think that usually pays off in the end.
In terms of YouTube, Do you think, hypothetically speaking, if there could ever be a time where Black creators finally have like the same support and I guess forefront as every other YouTuber now?
Yeah, I mean, there's a time we got a Black president, so like anything really possible. I think anything's possible. Really, I think like it'll take some time, and people will like become more open-minded and will be more accepting, and just realize that people aren't as different as they may think, and they'll just like, I mean, a lot of people be like, I'm colorblind and I don't see color, but I feel like everyone has to. Yeah.
Now we kind of have reached the open floor portion. So basically, like I said, you could ask me anything you want to ask me. Talk about any topic you want to talk about. We can talk about it. It's up to you. You're in charge.
Okay. Cool. So you've been doing what's this called? Social media introvert for a while. Like, what has been the hardest thing about this, and like, what have been your favorite parts?
Well, the hardest part is, as I said before, I try to do like extensive research on each person so that I make sure that I cover everything that they're doing in terms of like, you know, what other things are you affiliated with besides social media that I know about. Like for instance, my friend Taylor, who I did the last episode with, she is also with a beauty company. So I had to make sure I knew about that, knew what they were doing, so I can like include that. But there are some times where some of the people I interview they're really, I don't know, private. So it's like I don't have much to research. Prime example, you yourself. I was like, I don't have much on Kabar. I don't want to make this the shortest episode ever. So I was like, I need to make sure I know what I have to work with, because I want her to show her talent and share her, you know, just her thoughts and her intelligence. But at the same time, I don't want to like make it short because I don't have enough information. So it's that making sure that I can kind of cover every aspect of the person I'm interviewing. And then I guess my favorite part is just, you know, usually with people who have been on here so far, I've kind of strengthened my relationship with them, or the relationship we didn't have, because, you know, for me personally, this podcast is kind of like getting to know the people I know or follow and trying to like primarily show the people who follow them that they're like a normal person like everyone else. But at the same time trying to, you know, become friends with like the mutuals I know online for like however long we've been following each other, so we can break that barrier, you know.
I'm surprised by that, because I would not think that I'm as private. I feel like I share a lot on social media, but I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, because I feel like I was like, it was at one point I was like, I don't have much on Kabar. I don't know what else I can possibly talk about. It's just going to be great. Here's a YouTube channel. Here's this. Bye. So, because I honestly feel like you just like, you work in silence, which is a great thing to do. Yeah. And it's like, I was like, well, if she's that kind of girl, she's that kind of girl, and I'm just gonna deal with that. Because it's like, a lot of people hustle behind closed doors, and it's like, not everything is public. So it's like, well, I feel like Kabar's that kind of person who just does what she needs to do, get it done, that's it. Yeah. And it's like, it doesn't have to be shared all the time, it doesn't have to be public. It's, you know, she's doing her thing.
Yeah, for me, I think that like a lot of people, like if I'm looking at it now, don't really get to see all of me as a person. Like for example, you say I come across optimistic sometimes, but sometimes I can be like dark and very emo. So like that's why I like to do the motivational stuff, because I don't like to be in that space. Like everything that I talk about, whether it's like anxiety or like depression, is or suicide, which I haven't covered yet because I'm still trying to figure out how to, you know, work into that conversation. But it's like everything that I deal with personally myself. So I don't share a lot on social media because I don't really look at social media as a platform to, I guess, to share. It's just more like creation for me, and otherwise I don't like to be on it. Well,
kind of like backpedaling to what you said about like just talking about like sensitive topics like suicide and things like that. I guess, I don't know, my little 2 cents. What I kind of do to try to approach that is just let people know like, hey, this is what it's like, this is how it feels. So the people who don't understand, they can kind of like have a better understanding just in case they have a friend who goes through this, or they have a family member who goes through this. So it's more of like trying to teach people who can't relate to it, to try to teach them that it's something challenging. You have to give us some time. You have to give us just a breather for a second to really get ourselves together and get through this battle. It's not as simple as like, okay, great, I'm just gonna like go outside and that's gonna change my whole entire mood. No, bitch, it requires much more work. So it's like, that's usually how I will approach it.
Yeah.
Whenever you get to that moment when you're ready to kind of cover that.
Yeah, that's is something that I learned from you, and I like really admire about you, because you can be like very open on your channel. You like share a lot on your channel. Being open for me doesn't really work for me. I'm starting to learn, and I like constantly I'll hit up friends, like different internet friends, and open up to them. It's like something that I'm like getting into now, where I wish I can open up more with people and share more of myself.
Yeah, well, I'm actually surprised you say that, because it's like, it's a hassle for me to open up. Because I think the reason why I do want to open up about things like that is because, well, A, it's more of a me thing. I'm trying to challenge myself to come to terms with myself, my past, my, you know, existence, you know, how I deal with suicide, how I, you know, have gotten through a traumatic experience as like being sexually harassed, how I get through those things. And I feel like it's more of like a me finally being like, hey, you went through this. Mm-hmm. You try to erase it, you try to ignore it, but it's there. You have to accept it. You have to acknowledge it, because it's what makes you who you are. You know, as much as it's like ugly and it's scary, it still makes you you. People go through things, you know, not everything's perfect. Not everything is like, you know, sunshine and rainbows. Mm-hmm. Even the most happiest people, as myself and Kabar, we can go through tough things, and we have these challenges.
So for you, it's more like therapeutic.
Yeah, because it's like, if I can be like, hey, I've done this. I've, you know, almost didn't make it out alive from trying to take my own life. I've done this, you know, and I want to acknowledge that and be like, hey, this is what makes me me.
So for me, more so, it's kind of like, I feel like if you're gonna use a platform, you're gonna have a platform, you should like get people something, let them take something away, like give them some kind of substance, and not everything has to be like fun, like, because we do go through serious things and we are human. So like for me, it's kind of like I personally can't open about it, but if it helps someone else, I would not be so selfish to be like, I can't open about you because I don't feel comfortable. Like, I know, like in the Black community, we don't really talk about mental health, or like I have self-harm, but I don't see many Black girls get a chance to be on that, you know, platform saying that we do that. It's just mostly toward white people. So I want to be that person to be like, we go through this, you're not alone, you don't have to feel weird or awkward or like an outcast, like we go through this and you can overcome it.
Yeah, because I feel like it's basically just representation, you know. I feel like there's not a lot of people of color, whether they're Latino, Asian, Black, whatever, they don't really show that mental health can affect anyone. And being that, like you said before, the Black community doesn't really take mental health seriously. Yeah, it's kind of like, well, someone has to do something to kind of bring awareness to it, and that's why I feel like being open about it is kind of helpful for the Black community. But at the same time, it's not selfish if you don't want to share it, as you kind of stated, because like sometimes some topics you just don't feel like need to be, I don't know, shared, you know, which is completely understandable. Like, it's no pressure to share it. It's not a selfish thing, I guess is my point of saying.
Yeah, not everything is meant to be shared. Like, you can share it if you decide to, but selfish is used for lack of a better word, but it's like, it depends on the person and the situation.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, don't use that as a crutch to basically try to be, I guess, like, use it for clout. You know, like, I've seen, I don't know fucking why, but I've seen countless people use certain things as a crutch or as a thing to get them publicity and fame. And it's like, you're doing this completely wrong.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, I've seen people, like, there was a video a while ago, like, for instance, there are people on YouTube who use a fucking home invasion for clicks. I'm like, what? Like, you're getting robbed? You're telling us this for a whole fucking video? Like, it blows my mind how people use things. Like, instead of like, hey, this this was a scary moment for me. I just want to express how I feel. You know, things like actually try to be compassionate for yourself, I guess, and also just try to like let people know where you're coming from if you decide to take a break or decide to like distance yourself from social media. Instead of doing that, you're more like, okay, well, here's the crime scene where they did this, and here's the police at the door. It's like, what?
That's definitely the content creator mind. That I think that's the bad part about creators or YouTube in itself is like you look at everything as content. Like, oh, I just got into a car accident. Let me vlog this real fast. It's like we have became like you'll see like news and someone will get into like an accident or someone will get shot, and the first thing people think is let me videotape this. And it's like, bro, what? It's like that's messed up. That's what society has come to. Like everything has to be on camera. We are constantly performing for a camera.
Yeah, pretty much. Because it's like some things need like immediate reaction. If your first reaction is to like, you know what, let me pick up my camera. What you're trying to do, what you're trying to show, basically seems like you're just staging this at this point. Like, you know, and it's like it's ridiculous. It's like I understand trying to like make people, you know what's going on with you, but like do it in a way that's not so, I don't know, forced.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to watch. I shouldn't watch a video of you saying, "Oh, hey, I got kidnapped 2 weeks ago, and I was in a basement, girl, and they fed me bread and water for like a day. That was it, and I starved for the whole week." I shouldn't have to watch that video, but like, you know what? This looks like a fucking Lifetime movie. I do not believe this. I shouldn't feel that way.
I think it boils down to like we're becoming less self-aware, and people just have to figure out where their boundaries are and where their morals are, because a lot of time like I guess I am kind of private because a lot of time I don't like everything being on social media. Like if I tweet, it's usually a joke, but I don't like everything being on social media. And some people will like display their whole relationship and be like, he did this, she did that, he did that, and then a few minutes later they're back together, and it's like you guys just really like put all your business out there and attack each other.
Yeah.
I don't know, like some stuff should be private and some stuff should be between people and themselves.
Because I feel like that's another thing that's wrong with like a lot of social media people now is that they overshare. Prime example, I love her to death. Trisha Paytas is constantly like, when is she not on the floor in her kitchen talking about, oh, well, this person cheated on me, and, he was secretly gay, and, he left me for, like, this. Like, okay, Trish, not everything needs to be out there. 2 years ago, this guy broke up with me because of XYZ. We don't care, But it's like, I feel like people, again, they do it for the clicks. They do it for the numbers, because it's like, well, if I overshare and I put this drama out here in public, people are going to eat it up, and that's going to get me more attention. Prime example, Logan Paul.
Yeah.
He fully aware of what he was doing with that whole Suicide Forest video, but then it's like, oh, it was an accident. I didn't notice it in editing. Damn right. You edited that damn video yourself. You know what you were doing.
That's a shame, because before that happened, I was kind of like a fan of Logan Paul. Not so much Jake Paul, but Logan Paul, because I feel like his energy was high and he was like always entertaining. But then he kind of just made that move. I was like, bruh, nah. That was like that was just like, it's like you gotta make sure your intentions are in the right place. Like if whatever you do and whatever you share, like your intentions just gotta be in the right place, and that was definitely a wrong one.
Yeah, because it's like you have to, I don't want to say you have to watch your steps, but you have to watch how you present things, if that makes sense. Yeah, you could have made a video about the Suicide Forest, but you could have approached it in a different way. Yeah. Your intentions were to make it more for your views instead of your intentions of making it more educational, as you were claiming you were trying to do.
I think there's definitely a better way that he could have approached it, but he just wasn't going it the right way because he wanted to do it for the views. So, and obviously he has like a young demographic, so that was just senseless.
Yeah. We're still on open floor. Any other topics? It's still up to you.
I know. Okay, speaking of celebrities, I have not watched it, but how was the Homecoming documentary?
It's a documentary. it's basically this Coachella weekend 1 and 2. just edit together, and then there's like moments of like showing Beyonce being vulnerable. Something that a lot of people are talking about now is just her talking about her pregnancy and how it was a challenge for her, and how she just struggled to, you know, carry twins and almost didn't make it out after birth. So it's like, it's really good. It's well put together. She's kind of just explaining why she chose the whole theme of a HBCU and why she decided to, I don't know, kind of like broadcast the Black community at this big platform of Coachella. So it's really good. I have no complaints.
So, like, I know that you went to the Ariana concert and you've been to Coachella, so between those, like...
I never been to Coachella.
Wait, you didn't go to Coachella?
No, Ariana came to DC. We went to go see her when she was in town.
Yeah. So, like, between those two, like, which one was like a better experience for you?
Well, every concert I go to is different. But I guess in terms of like, I would use Ariana Grande's Coachella performance since it was basically the concert at Coachella. What's the question again? Oh, the difference was which one was better between Ariana and Beyonce. Truth be told, I automatically have to say Beyonce, not because I'm a Beyonce fan. It's mainly because Beyonce's performance had an impact. It had importance. It had a reason, a meaning. It wasn't just, great, I'm just going to bring my tour to Coachella. No, it was more like, here's something I want to teach all of you right here, right now. And you're going to walk away. You're going to be talking about this for months, days, years. It's something that was meant to change history and not just be a regular concert.
Yeah.
The downside about Ariana's performance is just that the crew was just terrible. They were messing up her audio, messing up her lighting. It was just, you know, they kind of sabotaged her in a way. But, because, like, compared to, like, the concert, she can put on a show. She can deliver. She can keep it together. But I feel like she wasn't working with her crew that she has on tour. So they kind of, like, set her up for failure. Well,
that's something that you always gotta look into. Like, you gotta make sure your team is, like, on the same page with you. And if you don't have a good team, then, like, everything's gonna be a hassle. Yeah. But it's, like, good that you picked Beyonce, because you don't want the BeyHive. You don't want the BeyHive coming at you.
Well, not even that. It's like, I've had several arguments with BeyHive about several topics that I didn't like about Beyonce. It's just, when I see things done right, I know which one easily wins, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so you've been to the playlist a few times, right? And you met with different creators. Like, what has been, like, one of the best collabs that you have done, and why?
How many collabs have I done at playlist? Oh, God. Let's see, there was Playlist DC. There's, I think, both years I had some good collabs at those. And then the 2 years at Playlist Orlando.
I had to be a diabolical.
You had to be, like, chaotic. If I had to pick, I don't know, in terms of, like, just, if I had to pick based off of, like, connection with the person I was working with, I would have to say the video I did with my friend Brandon last year when we did the Whisper Challenge. That one, I feel like connection-wise, I've never had that connection with anyone in a collab before, in person. Because, I don't know, we kind of... First of all, can I just say, I'm sick and tired of talking about him on every goddamn podcast. It's like every episode, it always comes back to him. I'm sick of this.
The anger.
But no, I really love him. I love him a lot. But it's like, I don't know, it's like we just have like this bond, this connection that makes it seem like we're like brothers. And it just feels so natural and not like, you know, I have to like carry the weight of the whole entire video. He's like, it's like equally distributed, and it's like connection wise, we're like just mentally on the same page, and it just makes the experience more fun. It just depends on like the people you're working with. Yeah, because I feel like when you don't have good chemistry, it shows.
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel around people, and it just doesn't feel right when you're trying hard.
Yeah, and it's like I always want, whenever I work with someone, I always want them to look good. in the video. Like, yeah, it's my channel, it's my video. I'm like, I'm basically the star of the video, but it's like I also want the other person to be in the spotlight as well. I don't want to make it seem like I'm overshadowing them or I'm just outdoing them and they're like barely getting by. You know, it's like Destiny's Child. Yeah, Beyonce, but I also want the other girls to flourish. You know, so it's like, that's just my thing with collabs. With the last big collab I did, which was a small YouTuber thing, which you were part of, I could genuinely tell, like, everyone involved were in it to actually be in it. Like, you and everyone, but specifically you, I could tell you actually wanted to, like, put in an effort and really wanted to, like, hey, here's my piece, here's my opinion. I want it to be, like, some good information that's actually helpful and not just give you a generic answer and call it a day. And I appreciate that, by the way. I don't know if I ever told you that. But I appreciate that because it's like, when I see people wanting to, like, give effort, I love that and I adore it so much. So thank you for that, by the way.
You're welcome. And honestly, it's my pleasure because that was, like, the first collab that I got a chance to do, work with, like, different YouTube creators. I was excited about it.
I'm really huge on connections and energy and just working good together, you know?
Yeah, because it rarely happens. So when you do meet someone that you really click with and they get you and you're on the same wavelength, that's everything.
Yeah.
So I guess my last question would be more pertaining to myself. So I essentially met you when we kind of, like, connected in 2016. What was your first impression of me versus, like, I guess, knowing me now?
First impression of you, I saw potential. I definitely saw potential. I was like, okay, she can definitely have potential to be, like, the next social media person who can grow rapidly fast. But then, of course, here's my brutal honesty. That will kill me someday. I don't know when to shut up. I was like, well, she has potential, but I feel like she can work better on how she presents it. Because, you know, I always feel like there were so many things that could have been better in your videos that just weren't executed well. Like, you had these perfect ideas, just wasn't executed correctly.
Okay.
And it's like seeing that now, and fast forward to now, it's like she's got it. She picked up on it. She has these ideas. She's executing them correctly. And it's like, it shows. Like, to see that growth from when I first saw you to now, it's like she's learning and it's showing. And it makes me so proud to see that because it's like watching, like, your child grow and learn more and expand. And it's like, I love seeing my friends grow and change, and to see you, like, just grow from someone who was just, you know, kind of like, you know, just learning and getting by.
On her way.
Yeah, to, like, kind of have an idea of where to go and steer the ship. It's like, I'm very happy to see that change, you know? So that's how I feel.
That means a lot because you're, like, one of the only, well, not only, but, like, one of the people that I initially connected with in the beginning stage of YouTube that I still, like, interact with, and I still, like, watch the videos and comment and, like, interact with social media. So that means a lot. And, like, first time seeing your videos, it's like his editing, his personality, just all on point. So that means a lot to me.
Thank you. Well, not thank you. Oh, no problem. I got my words mixed up. But yeah, it's like, I just like seeing people grow. I feel like a lot of people don't like to witness people's journeys of growth and changing. They expect you to be perfect right away, especially on social media. And it's like, I enjoy watching the process of people changing and, you know, just being better at their craft. And I just can only admire that from afar and just like, yeah, that's my friend. I'm very proud.
It's definitely something to be proud of because, like, something that I have seen is that, like, a lot of people delete their old videos because they're cringy or whatever. I tend to leave mine there. Like, I want you to see my growth. Like, I still have room to grow, but I still want you to see my growth. Yeah,
like, I have several crusty videos that were filmed on a crusty old iPhone and edited on an iPad, but is it terrible? Hell yeah. But I want you to see that because I want you to see the difference between 2015 to now. Honestly love seeing people grow and change. And that makes me admire their work ethic and that makes me admire their content even more.
Yeah, we all started somewhere, so you gotta like embrace like the bad, like, oh, this was terrible, this was tacky, I could have did this better. You're learning from it, so it's like always something to be proud of.
Yeah. And well, I guess same question for you. What was your first reaction to me, and how do you view me now?
I'm gonna say basically my first impression of you is kind of still the same today. I was like, he's very sassy and he has a personality, but I like it because I do it myself, and people call me like an asshole a lot. It's not to be an asshole, but I do the same thing myself, so I liked it. I remember the first time I saw your video, and I think I ran straight to Twitter. I was like, can we be best friends? So yeah, my impression is the same as for now. You have this, like, you can be sassy, but I still see like the generous and loving part of you. Like you have like that good personality, like generous.
Oh, thank you. Cause even though I try to, it's not even just I try to be sassy. It's more of like I'm trying to be honest with you in a way that's trying to spare your feelings. Because I feel like a lot of people will take my wit and my sarcasm as like, oh, you're just being funny. No, I'm trying to tell you the truth in a nice way. It's like I'm trying to fill you in and get you caught up so you do not look a fool out here.
I personally appreciate the brutal honesty because not many people do it. And if you have someone who's like that honest with you, it means they care. So you can go up to them and be like, hey, let me ask you a question. This outfit, this video, and you can know that what they're telling you. Like if they tell you something bad, when they tell you something good, you know that's true. It's not just them telling you to spare your feelings.
Yeah. My next topic that I kind of just we can talk about for a while because I feel like we can relate to this. Beyonce. Because I know you're a Beyonce fan.
Definitely.
What got you into liking Beyonce? What was the first time you realized, hey, I like her? She's cool.
Well, if anyone who knows me or just follows me anyhow on social media, you should know that I'm a Beyonce fan. If you don't, you ain't been paying attention. But I initially got into Beyonce because I appreciate how she can be like the independent that she comes with, and being like a 12-year-old kid growing up in a very strict household where you can't express yourself. I looked up to that. I looked up to the single lady. Looked up to you're irreplaceable. I looked up to all that. I'm like, I like that she can be her own person and can be strong and can be like. She was that like role model for women to like, you can be your own person. You don't need like a man or this. Like you're not just a daughter. You're not just a wife. You yourself are enough.
What was the first song you heard that made you want to be a fan?
Well, probably the first I heard my sister like listen to, was it the Independent Woman with Destiny's Child? But just by Beyonce by herself, it was probably I don't know, probably irreplaceable.
Really? Wow. That's like hella into the career.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I was expecting you to be like, oh, I don't know, Crazy Love. I was like, oh, you're pretty early.
Well, I heard yeah, exactly. But like to like really start standing her, I would say like irreplaceable.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a good point. Now that I think about it, because it's like that's when the whole B-Day era was around, and that's when she was really like putting her foot on people's necks. So I can understand that. As Beyonce as a person and not as an artist, what aspect of hers? Well, I guess you kind of answered it, but just to clarify, I guess, what aspect of hers really do you love about her? Like, what kind of makes you like, you know what, as an artist, she's great, but as a person, because of this reason, she's like even better.
Yeah, I think we like as like Beyonce fans, we look at her and we're like, this queen, and we feel her as this icon. But Beyonce as a person, she's just like chilled and like very low key. Like I feel like she has like a tomboy aspect. Even though like she's queen and diva, she just chilled. Like she's just like a normal person and she's humbled in herself. So I like that about her. Yeah,
because I feel like a lot of people think, oh, Beyonce has no personality and Beyonce's just this diva, bossy person. It's like, no, she's just private. Let's see if I can start some drama. What's your favorite Beyonce song and what's your least favorite Beyonce song?
Ooh, my least favorite Beyonce song, which it's kind of grown on me since, but my least favorite Beyonce song is the one she did with J. Cole called We Like to Party. I didn't like the high notes when I was just like, And I'll say my favorite Beyonce song, jeez, that's a tough one. Oh, let's see. That's such a hard question to ask. Beyonce has so many good music. I would say probably what's the one? Love on Top. Yeah, I would say that.
That's a good one. My favorite Beyonce song, which I don't even know if like who doesn't know this by now. Obviously it's Formation. I don't know, because Formation just did something for me that has kind of changed, like, how I view her now. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because and as soon as she started coming into that time, she was like getting more into the, I guess, the rap side of it, and she's like more innovating. I was like, who's this Beyonce? Like when she's doing the flawless and everything, it's like that's the new Beyonce that's coming out.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like I saw a different side of her that I've never seen before, and that whole Lemonade era was just like, what is this? Why haven't I seen this before? Like this, like truth be told, I feel like the self-titled era is what was like a test run for Lemonade. Formation really like woke up this like, I don't know, this fire inside of me, like of like appreciation for like her craft and her just presence of like, I'm going to be unapologetically me, and I'm going to let it be known, and you're going to take it, deal with it. If you have a problem with it, great, I'm going to turn that into merch. And then that's it. Do you have any Beyonce questions you want to ask me?
Okay, let's see. Have you ever like met Beyonce? Like had an experience with her?
The only experience I've had with Beyonce was back at the I Am tour. Yeah, it was the I Am tour. The part where she did Baby Boy and she was flying over the crowd. I was really young. I think I was like, I don't know, 10. I was a kid. So I guess she saw like a kid in the crowd waving at her, and she waved at me. And that's like my only experience I have with Beyonce.
I would instantly die. I have never, ever been to a Beyonce concert.
Really?
And yes, that's the only thing keeping me alive so far. I'm like, one day I'm going to shark that off my list. So. Okay,
so final topic that I, from here on out, will try to ask everyone. So past guests, sorry I didn't ask you this question. I tried to ask people who have been on social media about, in terms of mental health, do you think social media plays a big role in mental health? Why or why not?
When you say play a big role, you mean like as like
meaning,
does it?
Can it impact you in a way? Can it make you? Can it kind of basically control your life and make things? I don't know, make things unhealthy for you, or can it be beneficial for you in your mental health? So basically, can it be positive and negative?
I see. So I think social media can be both. It can be positive and negative depending upon how you use it. For me, when I was using it the wrong way, I spent a lot of time comparing myself and saying, oh, this person has this relationship, this person has this many friends, this person is wearing this, and it made me feel bad about myself, you know? And now the way I use it is like I use it to connect with friends, or I use it to follow people who are motivating, who talk and give you good tips about your mental health. So it depends upon how you use it. I also did take a break from social media for like 2 weeks because I just went like I was doing too much. It's like too much interaction. So I think it's kind of good to just like, I don't know, get used to the regular world and just like get away from your phone once in a while.
I can kind of see where you're coming from in terms of like social media can like be positive in a way in terms of like, you know, introducing you to new people, expanding your experiences, I guess, in terms of like interacting with people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If someone kind of uses social media as like validation.
Yeah.
And like, okay, well, am I pretty? Am I talented? Am I this? Am I that? Do you think that whole mentality is from social media, or just can social media make that happen? Or can social media basically mold that concept into someone's head?
I think we as humans, we already suffer from like looking for validation. It's like since the time we were little, we were looking for validations from our school friends. Like you go to school, from TV, it shows you how you should be. So that concept kind of already exists. Social media is just like another tool that we may use incorrectly. You may use it as a form of validation. I can definitely see how that can happen because you're looking at the likes, you're looking at how many shares it's got, and you use it for the wrong reason. I think that's definitely a horrible thing for females and young people because girls are like kind of told to look at their beauty and you know focus on all of that. So I'd say that it definitely can have that negative impact if you use it for that reason, and you just like you need that confidence and that self-esteem. Like you shouldn't base your self-worth or self-esteem on the numbers and the friends. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like, people are just all people.
Mm-hmm. For someone who has never had that problem before, do you think social media kind of molds that into them as they use it more?
Well, personally speaking for myself, I was homeschooled, so I didn't get a chance to like go through that phase of like peer pressure and dealing with other children making you feel differently.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like using social media, I definitely do see how it can have that impact, because I would be like around different people, and I don't know why it comes about, but just like as humans, we tend to compare. And you're like, oh, this person is doing this, and this person is living their life like this. And it's not like a good comparison, like, oh, I want to aspire to be something like that. It's like, usually you're trying to like compare and yourself in a negative way, and like, oh, they're better than this compared to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we all have our own super strengths, like we all have our own qualities, so you can't ever really equally compare yourself to someone else, because you don't know what they're going through in their own life, and you don't know, that person doesn't know what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely see how it, for me personally, it has that impact on me, which is like where a lot of the anxiety came from, and focusing on what other people are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm starting to get the hang of it and not try to look at it that way, which is why I get like my advice videos, and like all the advice that I give is just usually stuff that I tell myself to like learn to focus on and learn to like incorporate in my daily life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I feel like if you have, I guess using you as an example, if you don't have that like idea of like feeling like you need to have that validation, or you need to have like that input of other people's opinions,
Mm-hmm.
it can kind of and you start using social media, it can easily just branch into that, because it's like, well, I've never experienced this feeling of like needing to feel like I need other people's opinions.
Yeah.
But now that I'm on social media and seeing that, oh, other people's opinions is what gets people's followers and likes, I kind of want to know people's opinions about me.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of wants to make you feel like you need people's opinions.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's like, I feel like social media has been based off wanting validation, wanting to feel accepted, wanting to be seen as someone who fits in,
Mm-hmm.
compared to, promoting the idea or giving you that, I guess, that feeling of wanting to be original and being yourself.
Yeah. I think that's the appeal of it, because everyone kind of wants to feel like they're higher than someone, like they're doing better. So it's kind of like the appeal of it.
Mm-hmm.
You like this person, I constantly see people be like, oh, you ain't got that many followers, or what you talking about, you got this many likes, and it's like they use that as something to boost their self-work or self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, at the end of the day, that's like, I guess for influencers, it could be like, that's kind of how you make your money, but like, it's not something to judge the character of someone off, because like, you gotta get a chance to know the person as a person. You can just like look at their followers and likes. So it's like really a super artificial thing about social media that I don't like. That's one part of social media that I really don't like.
Yeah, because like, prime example, like even at playlists, I have overheard and seen just several people be like, oh, they talk to someone who does social media, and the first thing they say is like, oh, how many followers do you have? How many subscribers do you have? It's like, oh, I don't have that much. It's like, okay, oh, well, how do you consider yourself a social media person if you don't have an audience? And it's like, either way, if they don't have an audience, or if their audience is small, they're still a valid social media person.
Right.
So it's like, it's honestly just, people just think popularity is it. Like, once you have that popularity and those numbers, you are considered a social media person, and you're considered valid. And it's like, that's not the case, truth be told, because it's like, for me to consider someone valid in terms of social media, it's basically, are you working hard? Are you putting in the effort to grow? Are you I don't know, doing something original? Are you doing something that is actually you, and not something that's forced, something that's faked, something that's put on for show? Do you think social media plays a big role in people's mental health in terms of like, I don't know, anxiety or depression or any other mental health? Do you think social media is the reason a lot of people have those things, or do you think it's simply what causes them to have those things?
Well, like I said, social media is a tool, and like anxiety, depression, all that has been there for like ages, like even before social media. What I would say is that social media is a magnifier that like it makes it bigger depending upon how you use it. Like if you have a wound, and social media will be the salt that you put in your wound depending upon how you use it. Because I would see a lot of people who have mental illness problems and they will use social media poorly, where it can make their issues worse. So it's just basically that we get social media is definitely a tool. It can be very positive depending upon how we use it. I can see like in this day and age, like school children, that might be something that they used to be like, oh, how many followers do you have? And it's another reason to pick on people. And it's just like people have to change their mindset and the concept and the way they look at social media, because it can be really positive, but in some aspect it can be very negative.
Yeah, because I feel like people, they usually go like the bad approach at it, because they feel like, well, if I try to be this like happy, caring person, then they feel like that just doesn't work. In a way, they feel like they have to be like this asshole with this like very off-puttish attitude. And I feel like for some people, when they do that, that kind of, the way they use it in that way, that kind of worsens their mental health depending on what they're dealing with. Like, for example, if you're someone who deals with depression, use myself for example. If I put on this like, standoffish persona online, and I just feel like, and then I just look at that like, oh, no one, reaches out to me, no one interacts with me, no one talks to me, and that basically adds fuel to the fire of my depression. Because it's like, okay, well, now I feel alone, because I give off this vibe of like everyone else, like, yeah, I'm standoffish, yeah, I can be moody, I can do this, I do that. Now I'm basically adding fuel to my own fire, because I'm using social media in the wrong way. Every day we're still learning about social media to this day. We think we have it figured out, but we don't.
It's definitely a new phenomenon, and I think social media, it gives you this misconception of what you think about someone. It may not essentially be true, and a lot of people try to put on the front and like will be savage for the likes and views, and just do things that aren't like actual to their character.
Yeah. Do you think that social media can, at some day in the future, better promote the knowledge of mental health and try to like actually make people understand other people's mental health?
Yeah, I definitely think that it will eventually get there, because I'll see people like Dimitri Harmon, and I'll see even like Lily Singh, and there's like these influencers who are open about their experience and letting people know that, like, even though we're these big personalities and we're living this cool, awesome life, we go through shit. We're still going through problems, and we have like these pains. And we'll see people like even Mac Miller, like just recently passed away, rest in peace. Him like the OD situation, and we know he was dealing with stuff. He has like his own demons. And it's like we're gonna open up about these conversations more and realize that humans have like stuff they need to talk about, and these things are important. So I think as a generation in like our society is moving more toward that, slowly, but still like we're moving more toward being open-minded about these conversations and these issues. I definitely think a lot of people want that too. Like, I think we want more authenticity and not just seeing the glamour. We want to talk to like real life people and know that they have like real situations they go through, they have opinions and thoughts, and that will make us like connect with them more better, because we don't want to like connect with robots or like celebrities. Like, these are real people who like worked hard and made something themselves.
Well, that was my final question. If you want, you are more than welcome to ask a question about this topic.
Ooh, yes. So like, with you being someone who deals with like your own mental health, how do you like balance it with like creating content and being like this positive person?
Well, the thing for me is I just get through it, I guess. Luckily for me, a lot of the stuff that I do, I pre-record when I'm like in a good space. So it's like, when I do have this moment of like, I don't feel too great, I don't want to do anything, I can still continue to put stuff out automatically when it's scheduled and stuff. And then I could just take like a break off. So it's kind of like I just basically, which is why I kind of pre-record, because I know I always have these moments of where I just sometimes just have a breakdown, and it's like I just can't function. I don't want to do anything, or I'm having, I'm going through some really bad depression, where it's like I just can't focus on something like this right now. Which is why I kind of pre-record a lot of my stuff and kind of schedule it, because it's like I know if I were to just go as is, it will just be so much more challenging for me to even get through trying to do YouTube. Because I know I probably would not make it far, because I would just take way too many breaks and just have way too many times away from YouTube, and wanting to grow and wanting to have, it would be fabulous to have 1,000 one day, or even more, but being that I'm taking too many breaks because of me not being in the right space, I know that would make it impossible. So I just try to, right now I'm kind of like uploading as I go, which right now I'm like in a great mind space, so it's like I'm fine. But if I did just happen to like just completely switch from how I was like yesterday, then it's like, well, I don't know, like getting through would just be a challenge, a hassle. And being that I feel like people expect so much from me. Yeah. People expect me to be, full energy, very positive, preppy. They expect me to be just like, I don't know, they expect me to basically be like the YouTube Beyonce. I feel like there's so many people depending on me, and they expect so much of me. Like, if I do have a moment of like, I need to like shut down for a second, it just doesn't, it's not okay for me to do that. If that makes sense. So yeah, I feel like, I don't know, make sure that I am still being true to myself and also taking care of myself, but at the same time, there's a part of me who's like, I just hate letting people down. Yeah. I mean, even though it's basically a part of my genetics of dealing with this, I just hate letting people down as I'm dealing with this. So I think I just try so hard to be, I don't know, the best I can be. Since, like I said, I feel like so many people expect so highly things of me. I have to always present that.
I can see how that can be like a pressure, because like when you're like this positive energy, people like constantly want to see that. And I can relate to that a lot, because like you come off as optimistic, and it's like I'm not always that optimistic. And you expect it to, like, even with friends, like when they're going through their own shit, I'll try to be quiet about my stuff, because like I don't want to put that pressure on you. Yeah. Because I'm supposed to be like this happy, vibrant, uppity person. So it's like a lot of pressure to like keep being that way, even though like you have the battles, you have the difficulties.
Okay, well, that was my last topic, so we are at the end. So yeah, this is the end of Social Media Introvert. Thank you thank you all for listening. Thank you, Kabar, for being a guest. This has been a really good conversation. One
of the best conversations I had.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad to have you on. I wish we would have done this sooner. I don't know why we haven't. But yeah, thank you everyone for listening to Social Media Introvert. All of Kabar's information will be down below. Follow her online, check out her channel. Any final words you want to say?
I just want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for the conversation. The topics were great. We should have done this earlier. This is like a really great conversation, but just thank you for having me.
No problem. I'm happy to have you here. So yeah, thank you again. Again, thanks for listening to Social Media Introvert. Until next time, bye.
Bye-bye.